Hey, babe. Now you know I'm not talking. You know I ain't talking unless you giving me likes, you commenting, and you subscribing. You hear me? Good. Listen, I really want to come down here and talk to y'all about Nene Leaks. Okay, Nene Leaks has her new show. All right, the Nene Leaks show. Y'all know Nene has been talking about having her show for a very long time. All right. I believe Nene was even trying to get a show on like a major network television, on a major network, and things didn't really work out for her at that time. Y'all remember that time Nene got on that IG live with Nene? I'm sorry, with Wendy Williams. Ooh, Deasia, Deasia, you should have called me, girl. Deasia down to the neighborhood talk. You should have called me so I could have threw a question in there. Because listen, or you could have DM me. I'm talking like Deasia got my number, but you can get it. Anywho, listen, I would have threw a question in there because I would love to know because I don't recall Nene talking about this, but I would love to get Nene's reaction to Wendy Williams being in her guardianship situation and what her thoughts are. And maybe she's talked about this and I just can't recall. Okay, memory ain't as great as it used to be. All right, so maybe she's talked about this, but I would love to get her thoughts because y'all remember that time. First of all, Wendy and Nene, I feel like their friendship has been like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, and Nene was trying to do, I guess, like during the pandemic of some sort, she was trying to, interview people on her IG live or whatever. And she brought Wendy on there. And I feel like Wendy like played her to the left type thing. And then I think Wendy went on her platform and kind of shaded Nene. It was like really weird. But Wendy is calling Nene her friend. I'm sorry, Nene is calling Wendy her friend, but I don't think Wendy was calling Nene her friend. It was something that was real awkward about the friendship, and I don't know if they ever really got it back on track. I think Nene may have done an interview after that and still said that she had love for Wendy and she didn't know why Wendy did that. But, since Wendy has been put in her guardianship, I don't know where they stand, and I just wonder where has that relationship been? How do you feel about that? Do you have any empathy or anything for her situation? Like, just what are your thoughts about all of that? I wish she would have asked her that question. But anywho, because on Nene Leak's show over on the YouTube, she has Deasia from the Neighborhood Talk who sits down with her after Nene sits down with LaTocha Scott of Xscape. And I want us to talk about some things because Tasha does get into a few things when it comes to Xscape. And sometimes I wonder if she may be very tired of talking about Xscape. And I'm sure that she is. And it's an unfortunate situation because, I mean, that's how everybody knows you. They know you from Xscape. What all took place with you and your group members has been repetitive, it seems. You've, I guess, let you tell it, you've been the odd person out or whatever. It's always been friction with you. So we're always revisiting this situation with the ladies and her having to constantly talk about it. I wonder if they tired of talking about it. Like, I really kind of want them to get it together at some point. But in order for that to happen, accountability needs to take place. And for me, I just feel like as I watched it, just my honest and personal opinion, as I watched it, it just seems like everything was done to LaTocha and LaTocha did nothing to anyone else. That's just how I took it, how I watched it, how I saw it. I did, jot down some things that she talked about, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. So make sure you do your due diligence, honey, and we're about to get ready to talk about it. All right. So first things first, let's go ahead and get into something. She says that, of course we knew that she had a son. What I didn't know about Tasha was that her son is in the G League. So I guess congrats to him. She talks about the residual. Y'all know that's Chris Brown's song that I guess Tank asked everybody to do a challenge on. She says no woman got on the challenge and she wanted to be one of the women to get on the challenges because she admires Chris Brown and his perseverance and everything and all of that. And so she wanted to do that challenge, and she talks about how I guess music brings people together or whatever the case was, and she was able to reconnect with her sister after doing that song, right? Now, Nene asked her about Kandi saying that she wasn't kicked out of the group and what happened with her not being a part of Xscape currently, I believe. So LaTocha says that she didn't know that they were going to go on tour and she didn't know until SWV told her. I guess. I mean, some part of me was like, well, I always thought that was the whole goal. You were supposed to be included, but you decided to take a step back so that you can go off and you can do, your own solo career or whatnot. But she's saying that she didn't know anything about it, right? So so then she said that she did have a lawyer send them info about going on tour and they never responded to it, is what she said. That's what she said. She said they never responded to it. She said if she really wanted to blow some stuff up, she could, because she could sue them technically, because she owns the she owns the trademark to the name. Then she goes on to say that she added her sister to it as well. And it's like, I don't like the wording of that. Right. And for me, as I watch it, it's like, these are the reasons why you likely won't get as far as you desire. Okay. Because of the playing in the people's face, for me, just a little bit. All right. You added your sister's name. Girl, y'all submitted that together is what it's given. Okay. And at the end of the day, whether you added her name to it or not, y'all are both owners of the trademark. So for you to make it seem like it's solely yours, but then, I added my sister's name on there. Well, then that's why they're able to move forward, because part of the owner is okay. Okay. It seems like they may need a fraction of the decision making from one of the owners, and your sister is a part of it. So that's how it's going to go. Now, I don't know if she's getting more money because they're utilizing her, utilizing you guys' name or whatnot. But then also it makes me feel like, considering the fact that the sister has said that you and Rocky owe her money for taking her residuals or whatnot, according to your sister, maybe you're not going as far because you may feel potential guilt and may feel like, whatever money she makes, I'm gonna let her make that extra money. Cause I mean, I ain't got the money to pay her back. If that is true, that you was over there taking checks, signing them off, putting them in somebody else's account. So it could be, that as well. But I do want to get into some audio in just a second, because when all of this went down, I believe it was like last year, April, May, somewhere up in this time frame, Tasha did send those ladies a letter. I do remember, because I forgot how she worded it. But anywho, she did say that she sent a letter to them. If I wanted to sue, I could have sued, whatever. I just remember a letter going out. She did send a letter out. And once she sent that letter out trying to stop them from moving forward with the tour that they were going to do at SWV last year, they got on the Breakfast Club and they responded to that. All right. So I just want to, let us hit a little flashback so that we can get into what those ladies said.
I don't know if this is true, but they said LaTocha filed a lawsuit against the group. Is that true?
Well, she didn't file a lawsuit against us. She sent a letter to Mona.
She sent a letter.
She sent a letter.
Yeah, she sent a letter.
It's over.
Yeah, I think it was more of a scare tactic, but it didn't work. I mean, we kind of already knew our rights.
Yeah. How does that impact the personal relationship, though?
Well, as of right now, we don't really have a personal relationship. You know what I'm saying? We don't really speak. I don't even think we have her number, for real. They changed their number. So, we're just going on, moving. It comes to us, but, we're just doing that regular daily thing, moving around like,
But when it's your sister.
It is our sister.
You know what I mean?
More so, her blood sister.
Yeah.
But, this is what life is bringing us.
Obviously, Tamika don't really like to talk about it too much.
Christmas dinner is wonderful. I have a wonderful family, my children. I'm a grandma, a wonderful husband from the New York. He's from New York City. What's up?
New York.
What's up, babe? Yeah, life is good. Sometimes you have to separate in order for certain people to know your worth, and until they know it, you just be separated. But life goes on.
And sometimes you gotta separate from people closest to you.
Yeah. Whether that be family or friends or whatever, definitely.
Yeah. Does it make you feel any guilt though when y'all out on the road?
No guilt. When you're not in the wrong, you don't feel guilt.
Right.
Ooh.
Ain't that the truth, girl?
How does
All right. So once she said that, Tiny gave Tamika a hand clap and said, "Ain't that the truth?" In case you guys didn't hear it. So yeah, the thing that I was trying to recall that Tasha said in this sit down with Nene, she said that those ladies never responded, and some part of me is like, I don't believe that, but semantics, wordplay, they may not have responded because the letter was sent to Mona Scott, according to Kandi. It was sent to Mona Scott. The ladies look back at Mona Scott during the interview, and Mona says, it's over. She sent it to me. It's over. Right. So I would either, she may have consulted with an attorney. Maybe they didn't respond back. Right. Maybe they didn't. I will want to believe that they did, to let her know that they received the letter, but maybe not. But at the end of the day, like they said, they knew their rights. Obviously, Mona Scott consulted with whoever she needed to consult with, and they moved forward that away. All right. Child, it has been a mess with these ladies. I know it's just been a mess, you know. I know people often highlight when Kandi wasn't trying to do Xscape at one point, and they ended up changing the name or whatnot. But if y'all the ones that own the name, y'all could have moved forward with that name. Y'all owned it. The two owners was a part of the group. Y'all still went on to make music and do stuff without Kandi. You know, this group is a mess, honey. This group is a mess. We ain't gonna never get no biopic fooling with it. It's not gonna happen. But anywho, let's keep going. So LaTocha does speak on how she was still hurt. You know, she was hurt from the show, and says that she thinks how she was shown on the show brought a wedge in between them. Right. And then he said, well, I think it's because of your husband, but we'll get into that. Now, it's not so much as how you were shown on the show that brought a wedge in between you guys. See, how you were shown on the show may have shaped our opinions of you. How your sister came to the front and called out certain behaviors or things that may have been done against her, in my opinion, is what shaped our opinion of you. When you do interviews and then we look at those interviews and then we may cross-reference them or whatever, sometimes it shapes our opinion of you. When it comes to you and the group, in my opinion, I feel like it's not so much as what was shown on the show that brought a wedge in between y'all. It was how y'all acted on the show. Hello? It was you on the show. It was that husband on the show. It was y'all. That's not how they showed y'all on the show. That's what we were watching what y'all were going through. So I'm a little confused. What do you mean how I was shown on the show? Which are you okay? That's what it was. That's what you gave them. Okay? So, all right, Miss Ma'am. Now we go on, and then he asked her why it took the Ricky Smiley interview that her sister did for her to give her sister a call. And she says that she reached out to her sister several times and she got no response or anything. So when she finally heard her sister say reach out to her, then that's when she decided to, you know, take on that opportunity. And, you know, if I can be honest, in my opinion, you know, and I'm just giving my honest opinion on how I'm viewing it. And I wish no ill will towards Tasha. I do hope that she's able to go on and be successful. But girl, I think that's going to be difficult. I do feel like the reach out, the timing of dropping the residual videos, all of it is I'm going to say set up, for lack of a better word, or promo or whatever, to propel to the album that Tasha is about to drop at some point, right? To try and get back in the good graces of the people potentially, all right? And that is the reason why she reached out to her sister. If you listen to the interview from the Breakfast Club just now, what did they say? They said that she changed her number. This isn't the first time I've heard that. Tamika has said that before. So even if Tamika wanted to reach out, her number had been changed, right? And well, I can't recall the mishap with the Soul Train Awards because I don't know if they had her number at the time or if her number had changed, because there was like a little mix up with that. But yeah, I question the genuineness, even though I do hope that you guys were. Like, to me, I feel like the intent, right, to me, was not necessarily genuine. I do feel like there was a motive in my personal beyond just reconnecting with your sister. However, once they had the conversation that they had, I do hope that things got a bit better for them. I definitely hope that, you know, they were able to hear each other, even just for a little piece, and they can work on their relationship moving forward. Because at the end of the day, when you take away the noise, y'all are still sisters, y'all are still family. All y'all got. Really. Okay. And everybody's different though. You know, some people don't allow just because that's all I got to be the deciding factor or the defining reason as to why I stay close with a person. You know, because if all I got is being disrespectful to me and not showing up for me or not doing this or that, then I don't need to be around it. I need to go find something else that I could get versus this being all I got. Right. But everybody moves differently, but definitely wishing them well. All right. Now, Nene talks about herself for a second and how she needs time to process as well. She said that, you know, she understands where Tamika was coming from. Tamika and everybody needs time to just process things. And she's like that as well. And, you know, she says that she moves on, but she feels like there are some people that may still be processing, still be holding on to a little bit of a grudge, you know what I'm saying? Holding on to things for years. She says when it comes to Real Housewives, she feels like for her, she has no grudges, right? She's moved on, but she thinks there are grudges still towards her, which I find to be interesting because I feel like whenever Kandi has been asked about Nene more recently, I don't feel like she shades Nene. I feel like she gives her things. Whereas Nene took the opportunity to take multiple shots at Kandi in this interview. So when Kandi clapped back, don't get upset, okay? Because you started it in a sense. And Tasha wanted to lean into that when she tried to say that, you know, Kandi couldn't dance and Kandi's stiff. And Tasha's like, oh, well, you're right about that. Says a person who wants to be reconnected with her group, right? Oh, you're right about that. Like, yeah, you can't just say that, Nene, and move on. We gotta lean into that. We gotta stick into that. But why would you want to lean in and stick into that when you know that could potentially set you back if you're trying to get back to your group? If you're trying to get back to your group. If you're not trying to get back to your group, then okay. All right? Continue to throw the shade, girl. And they'll continue to leave you out, I suppose, as they've been doing. But anywho, so Tasha still calls them her sisters, she says. She still calls them her sisters. And let me go back for a second. I just wanted to highlight Nene saying she don't have any grudges, but continue to take shots at Kandi. Okay. But anywho, Tasha still calls them her sisters and says that she does believe that there is a path forward. Okay. By having honest conversations. And I feel like they've tried to have that with you. But when people try to have conversations with you and you're not trying to accept how you may have made them feel, how they may have experienced the situation, then that's going to be a problem. Because even on this sit down with Nene, I feel like, you know, she was trying to like rewrite a little, you know what I'm saying? Just like, girl, what? Is that how that happened? It was just really... It's gonna be tough for the ladies. It's gonna be tough for the ladies. So Nene asked her about her lyrics, right? You know, she did the residual song. She talks about being separated for 2 years, 30 years washed away or whatever. And the whole time, a lot of us was thinking that she was talking about her husband because right before she delivered those 2 lines, she talked about her husband, right? And the betrayal or whatever it was with them. And then she goes into the 2 years, 30. So then people are thinking that she's talking more so about her husband and that they're separated. So then we started to learn from different people. Oh, no, they're not separated. Actually, her sister even said on the Ricky Smiley show that they were still together. So her trying to make it seem like they're not together, lies. So then what Tasha does is she gets on the platform and she says that she was speaking on her group. Okay, 2 years separated. She says she's been removed from this situation for 2 years, is what she says. Then she goes on to talk about the 30-year history with them. And I'm like, I guess, because let me see something. How old is Tasha? See, this is where I feel like playing in my face comes. Tasha's 51 years old, right? So she's saying 30 years washed away, but she's talking about the group. She makes this about the group. But they're saying the birthday year is 1973. She's 51 years old. And can I say mama look good? Okay, we may not like how she may act sometimes or how she sit down in these interviews and stuff that she say, but ma'am look good at 51, period. I'm going to give you your things, girl, okay? And voice is still there. Everybody's voice ain't still there, okay? So I'm going to give her that, bitch, okay? She do look good. Now, 51. Take away 30 years, you're 21. When did you marry Rocky? At 21 years of age. But you met these other ladies of Xscape when you were like a teenager. I could have sworn like y'all were performing and doing these songs and doing your thing as kids. So it would have been more than damn 30 years. So it seems to me you were talking about your husband. And in my opinion, right? Just my opinion. It's not a fact. It's how I'm breaking down the information for me. It does appear as though you got caught in a lie when you did the residual song, and then you turned around and you tried to clean it up when you did the Nene Leak show. That's what it seems like to me, and y'all let me know. Because she also goes on to say, because I put in all caps in my notes, I said, so basically you still with your husband. Because now you're tailoring this about the group. Because not only did everything go down 2 years ago when you guys decided to part ways, the show came on, whatever, it was also the stories that were coming out there about him having a child on you or getting somebody else pregnant, right? Not so much as having a child on her, but really just getting somebody pregnant. All right. So LaTocha talks about not giving up on her sister. She says, when all of this was going on, where was my sister? Like, I didn't have my sister. And it's like, ma'am, do you really think that you're going to have your sister after your sister has accused you guys of stealing from her? And she asking y'all for her money? And instead of anybody taking any sort of accountability, they get on platforms and downplay everything. And then in so many words, make it seem like she's the one that's lying. And you think that it's all about the money, but I'll never forget that. Didn't she say that he had an SEX tape or something of her? Yeah, I won't forget that part. Did she say something like that? So, yeah, like, if that is indeed an actual factual truth, it's giving cringe worthy for me. But let's keep going. So, she says, I was there for my sister when they wanted to kick her out the group when she got pregnant. Like, how do you do this to yourself? But instead, I took a stand and I said, you know what? You can't have me, if you don't take my sister. And I'm like, I understand you taking a stand. And I feel like you took that stand because your mama told you to take that stand at that time. I do. Although I do feel like the mama favors Tasha over Tamika, and that's just my personal opinion on the outside looking in. I also feel like the mama, because she is the fifth member, I do feel like she was the one that made sure that you went back and let them folks know, especially when y'all were younger. If she got pregnant as a teen, did you really make that decision, or did the mama make that decision because y'all were underage or something? Right? Not sure how old Tamika was when she had her daughter. I don't know if she was like 18 or younger or what the case was. But all in all, I feel like the mother had influence there. I don't think it was just like your grand idea, just when you said, oh, my name is on the trademark, I own it. Yep, you can look it up. I own it. And when you realize people are going to look it up, as we already have, I added Tamika's name on there. Okay, but at the end of the day, y'all both own it, period. Y'all both own it. All right. It's kind of giving that just a little bit. So Nene asked her about her husband cheating and having a baby on her, and she says there is no outside baby. Okay, well then, did you speak on the cheating part? Obviously you couldn't deny that, really, because all of that was being put out there, and the way he made himself look an ass when Tasha got him on the phone and played that audio recording, child, that was crazy, honey. But I thought that there were two different situations with that alleged side chick. I thought that she mentioned she miscarried once, and then I thought that she mentioned that she actually aborted once. I thought it was like two situations like that. I would have to go into the archives, and I haven't done that yet. But she did say that she was pregnant by him once upon a time, right? So there may not be a child, but according to the alleged mistress, there was a pregnancy. Now, in the midst of her and her sister's beefing, and her husband being called out, she said she was still looking for her sister. And this is what I was referencing earlier, because I'm a little confused as to how are you still looking for your sister, love? How you still looking for your sister when your sister feels disrespected? How you still looking for your sister when they said that you had changed that number, though? So, and Tamika said that a long time ago. So I'm just like, this is what's going to be difficult for you to make a comeback, in my opinion. And granted, you're going to always have those people that's going to support you forever. And I think that's great, because I don't think nobody should really just be without their supporters, depending on, what you did for real. But as far as having the whole support that you would typically have when it comes to like an Xscape, I don't know if it's going to be that much in the masses, but again, that's just an opinion. All right. That's not a fact. I don't know your future, but I will say that it does not look good when you do these interviews and people feel as though, although they don't know everything that's going on, some of the stuff that you say, they know some of the things that is going on or have been going on and could potentially be fact checked based on what you guys put out here. Right? Based on what you guys have said in interviews or what's been shown to us. So it's just, it doesn't look, it just didn't look good for real. I do question what made Nene choose LaTocha Scott as her first person. I wonder who was the mastermind behind that decision. I don't think that it was a bad decision, though. I don't think it was a bad decision for them to choose her. I just think it was bad for some of the stuff that was said in the interview. And then it is giving a little bit of talking in circles just a bit, because we still not getting nowhere. And I see why. I see why Xscape is where they at. All right. So Nene confirms, and pretty much with Tasha. Tasha does confirm that she and Rod, or whatever his name, Rocky or whatever, they're still together. She says she's been working through things with him. She says that she would divorce him if it was something to divorce him about. Girl, if you knew that he had a tape or something, as your sister was mentioning something like that back then, that was grounds. That was grounds. That was grounds. I'm sure there's been other things. There was grounds, but here's the thing. Although he was out at the club, don't think I'm not feeling good and somebody's spot getting hot. Don't start just think I'm not, because I'm not getting hot. Just because he was out getting hot don't mean Tasha went out getting hot. Now, I don't know that lady business like that, but I will hope and pray to God that she got some get back on that ass for sure. Okay. I would hope so. So I don't know. I don't know why she want well, she is said, that lady said for better or for worse, and she meant it. Okay, better or worse, but anywho, more worse. So let's keep going. So I do kind of feel like he's the reason her solo career hasn't survived. Like, your Xscape career survived, in my opinion, because of Jermaine Dupri. And of course, you all's talents. Now, the ladies at some point did accuse him of, I don't know if he was managing Xscape at one point and they felt like he was getting kickbacks or something, speaking on Rocky. I'm not sure if that was the case. I think they mentioned something like that previously. But as far as the Xscape success, of course, it was you guys' talents, what you guys brought as a group, and more so Jermaine Dupri, in my opinion. So, but when it comes to the solo, it hasn't really done so. And, I really feel like, I do believe in this. When you drop some dead weight, or you drop unnecessary weight, or shop more than anything unhealthy weight, then you excel. And I feel like once you start to really excel, then you know that being tied to that person or that situation is what was bringing me down, because now I've thrived so much. And I do feel like, in my personal, it could be part of affecting. Now, granted, I know some people are going to get in the comments and they're going to say, well, Tasha do that too herself as well, because she be sit up here lying in her interviews and she be saying this and that. I can already hear you guys now. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I also feel like he may influence that. Right? So I don't know, but okay, girl, stick beside him. That's my man. I'm going to stick beside. All right, girl. So anywho, she also says that she did not steal from the group at all. All right. When it came down, or at least he didn't steal from the group, right? Because they felt like he was getting kickbacks and different stuff like that. She says he didn't steal from the group. I don't think Nene asked about the money that her sister feels that she is owed. So that wasn't a question. Nene, because that's what I put a note in. I said, Nene should have asked y'all about stealing from your sister. And is this why they may never be a group? Because the group feels like he was taking those kickbacks, right? And it's not so much as him taking the kickbacks. I feel like it's the lack of accountability as well, amongst other things with the group. So Tasha says her mom is trying to mend the relationship between she and Tamika. I would hope so, because at one point Tamika was saying her mama wasn't even talking to her, right? So now she may have come around. They may have come around, and the mom is trying to fix things between them. But at the same time, that leaves me to believe that there is still some friction. So even when you and your sister connected after the Ricky Smiley interview, you guys may still have a bit of friction there. Because I would think that y'all may be in a better place if y'all don't really need the mom, because she was willing to accept a phone call from you or whatever. You guys talk. So I would want to believe that y'all could do this, together. But hey, I guess it's good. She is the 5th member. So good for her for trying to get her daughters together. Now, Nene throws shade at Kandi, saying that Kandi can't dance. Tasha wanted to lean into that for a bit. We talked about that. And LaTocha talks about using the Xscape name, and touring without her. She talks about that. And that's when she said she could sue and all of those things, right? And I just played that audio. All right. I played that audio for you guys. So there's that. Okay. Now, that pretty much wrapped up her interview. I mean, it wasn't some things that we haven't heard before, and I think that's the problem, right? Heard it all before, all of your lies. Come on, Sunshine Anderson. Okay. Anywho, so let's get to all things tea, because that's the section where Deasia comes in from the neighborhood talk. And my question is Deasia going to come in every time for all things tea? Okay, I don't think that's a bad idea. I'm just wondering if she's gonna have her consistently, or will she be bringing in different people to ask her all things tea. But either way, it was nice. They talk about Kenya Moore, all right, and how, when it comes to the housewives and stuff, Kenya Moore was one of the people to DM them, asking them to not word things a certain way, making it appear as though it was RP. So there's that. She didn't like the fact that they were pushing a narrative, and Deasia was like, well, I just find it interesting that all of these other networks are pushing a narrative, but you're reaching out to us. And it's like, well, we don't know if she hasn't reached out to them either, right? But then some of the networks that you guys talk about, like Extra and different people, when I go to their content sometimes to receive information on housewives, they don't have a large viewership on YouTube. So I feel like they about ain't got a lot of people don't watch TV like they used to, but they are going to be on Instagram and into their phones and stuff, right? So I think that's part of the reason why she may have come to you guys, because she knows you guys are likely going to get more clicks, hits, and everything than others. But it doesn't mean that she hasn't reached out to those other blogs as well. But I also kind of understand Deasia just a little bit. Like, girl, this is the information being provided to us, and we're just presenting it, as it's being provided. So I do get that, but maybe she felt like she had a direct link. Like, if I can't get to these people over here, then I know someone at Neighborhood Talk, and I feel like they somewhat, respect me if no other, blog or company does. So maybe I could get them to like, hey, could you guys adjust that, because that's not what that is. Like, can you guys be mindful? But I don't know the approach either, okay? Because she could have. I don't know how Kenya approached them folks. So there's that. So she also says that Kenya didn't like the post. She didn't like that. Bristol Edie was on the same post as her. And I did understand Nene, because Nene said that she gets Kenya's side, and she also gets that the fact that, hey, in order for, like, nobody knows Bristol Edie. So because nobody knows her, then that is why we need to at least show the people who you're arguing with, and I don't disagree with that. Although I like Kenya a lot, I don't disagree with that. Unfortunately, you allow people in on your shine when you give them even an ounce of a moment. For real. And I think when people say that they are the queens of things, I think when you know that you're that girl, when you're the most popular one, I think you should be mindful of who you give your attention to when it comes to friction, because then they're going to be known and adjacent to you. You know what I'm saying? Just a bit. And if you don't want to get them that, don't get them that. But I also understand sometimes people don't think in the moment. Like when Miss Girl was over there talking about pistol and whips, I guess she wasn't thinking. I don't know. I don't know what she had going on. All right. I feel like she was doing too damn much. Right. And I also feel like Kenya didn't think completely through what she was going to do over on at her grand opening. So, it is what it is. But Nene says that she gets where Kenya's coming from, because the week before they were just supporting Kenya. And then now they're over there supporting Britt. And I'm like, well, who's supporting Britt? Are you talking? Oh, maybe she's talking about the network. Maybe that's what Nene was talking about. She did say that, fans are flip-floppy. And girl, they are. They are. Because I'm going to get on you in just a second, Bristol Edie, in a whole nother video, girl. So you might feel like you up now. But the way these fans flip, okay? Hit all kind of cartwheels, backhand springs, tucks. Okay, girl, listen. Be mindful, because you up right now. But okay. So, but Nene could be talking about the network. They was just supporting Kenya. Obviously, in my opinion, it could go both ways. It could go about the fans. It could go about the network, because you guys were supporting her. You did encourage her to move forward and do whatever she was going to do that day. And then all of a sudden, when somebody probably hit you with some papers or came to y'all or whatever the case was, now it's like, oh, snap, let us switch it up. We don't want to be held liable, yada, yada, yada. Well, all you had to do was not show it at all. In all honesty, act like it never happened. And just let those rumors that were out there just be that, just rumors or whatever. But hey, there's that. But anywho, so Nene says without having Kenya, that's going to be interesting. And she thinks that they got Phaedra to save the show just a bit. Do y'all think they got Phaedra to save the show? I think potentially. I think so. Actually, I want us to get into some audio. Let me see. Let me go to the other page. But I don't know how much attention Phaedra is going to bring. Like, I don't know what Phaedra is really going to bring. In my personal. Like, what are you going to really give us? We're going to see. No, I know she's wanted to get back on Housewives, and I'm glad that she is, because she really didn't fit with the ladies over there on Married to Medicine. But I'm here to see what Phaedra's going to do. All right, so let me see. Let's get into this portion here. All right, let's check this out.
At the end of the day, Kenya is a vet, and Britt Edie is a newcomer, right? And so, no shade to Britt, but who really knows her if we don't put Kenya's picture, you know, right there to show you guys this is Britt and this is the person that she's fighting with. So, yeah. I get it. I also get where Kenya's coming from. It seems like everybody is like coming down on her. The week before, this is what I say about the viewers, and you know this in the comments. These commenters are like, they have an issue. One minute they're supporting you, the next minute they're not supporting you. The week before, they were supporting Kenya. And this week, they're not supporting her. Now they're supporting Britt. And now Kenya's gone.
I've seen very few people supporting Britt. Very few. I think the masses are up against her for sure. But I also feel like this could go towards the network too.
And how do you feel about that? Do you feel like the show will survive without her?
I feel like without having Kenya, it's going to be interesting. I would like to really see where this goes, because Kenya is a fire starter, and that is part of the entertainment that the viewers love, that Kenya is a fire starter. And to not have her there to start any fires, now I'm starting to think this is why they went and got Phaedra. They wanted Phaedra to try to come on and help save. That's what it feels like.
I would agree. I feel like some of the storylines are a little dry. Yeah. I don't really want to keep seeing, you know, Drew and Dennis and Porsha. Yeah. You know, Shamia and Porsha.
Okay,
that's just been a thing.
What do you think about Shamia? Oh my God, her lifestyle is everything.
I love seeing Shamia's family, and that, you know, she was kind of sitting on this, and, you know, she's not really boastful. So it was a surprise to me, and I just love seeing Black excellence. So to see her large home and just her family dynamic, her beautiful daughter, I love it. You know?
Yeah, I do too. I do. Do you think she makes a great housewife?
She does.
Yeah,
she does.
I love this.
She embodies what a housewife is. I mean, she's married. You know, there's a lot of people on the show that are not.
Married with children, and they have a lifestyle.
And she works.
Yeah, even though her husband has this, you know, great amount of income, she still works. And that, I say this to women all the time. It doesn't matter what your husband is doing. You should work. Get out there and work, because you need your own money. When you just rely on a man to do everything, you're giving him all the control. And that you should never do. At the end of the day, Kenya is a vet. And Britt Edie is a newcomer, right? And so, no shade to Britt, but who really knows her if we don't put Kenya's picture, you know, right there to show you guys this is Britt and this is the person that she's fighting with. So, yeah. I get it. I also get where Kenya's coming from. It seems like everybody is like coming down on her.
All right. So y'all just pretty much heard what Nene had to say about that situation. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I think the viewership did kind of drop just a little bit, you know, this past episode. I mean, I watched it. I was excited once I saw the clip for the brunch, you know, then I got into the entire episode over on Patreon. And when it comes to, you know, I rewatch it for the review to see if there's anything that I missed and give you guys a detailed, you know, good review. But it was a struggle. I am going to still try to get that review out to you guys, but the episode wasn't as good as the previous episodes. But I do think it will pick up. I do feel like it'll pick up. I do. That's my opinion. I think that is going to pick up. However, this particular episode was like wah 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 wah. Just a little bit. Okay? But leave your thoughts below. Let's see what else Nene gets into. All right, so Nene says they asked Deasia asked her about Kandi and Ashley, and if she had someone to sing at an event, who would she choose? And this is Nene taking yet another shot at Kandi, and I feel like it's for no reason. Okay, it's like they be good and then they be bad, and Kandi even be confused. She be about just as confused as I am. Like, what's going on? Why? Ain't nobody even much has said anything about you.
Based on what you've seen, if you were having an event, would you rather have Kandi sing or Ashley?
Would I rather have Kandi sing or Ashley? I'm going with Ashley.
First of all, let me also say this, bitch. You know you wrong as hell, because you know the Roberta Flack tones that she was giving flat. It was Roberta Flack flat, and you know it. But here's the other thing. Part of it the reason why Nene, you see how she said what she said, that she gave that look like, yeah, not like, now what's happening now? What you gonna do about it? Okay, that's the look that she's giving, because she still has an issue with Kandi, but at the same time, I feel like Nene said what she needed to say, because she already knows that if they clip this portion of her show, it's gonna make for conversation and it's going to get more buzz on her show. Even though, granted, I'll be honest, like, I mean, Nene doesn't necessarily need Kandi for a buzz. They don't need each other for that, you know. But I feel like it was going to be a good little sound bite to go into her trailer or whatnot, because this right here is crazy. But also, Ashley, don't think that Nene will choose you because you can sing, because you can't. I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna say you can. I'm gonna say you just sing the wrong songs for your voice. That's what I'll say. All right. I just think that you just have to find what may work for you. And I think with more practice on your vocals, I think you might be able to give the people a little 1-2 or something. Okay. But you would definitely be invited to her event for her to talk about you, for sure. And if you were to be singing, she's not gonna let you sing live, girl. You will be lip syncing. Get into it. Come on, Nene. Get into it, girl. You will be lip syncing. You will not be singing live. Not at Nene Leakes event. Okay? Unless it's a drag show or something, but you won't be doing that. No, ma'am.
Ashley, really?
Really?
Wow.
Ashley, say that song, girl. Roberta Flack.
It's giving Roberta Flack. Stop playing.
Good.
Based on what you've seen,
you cut me.
Y'all be trying to play on Kandi Top too much. No, ma'am. Singing my life with his word. Y'all be trying to play on Kandi Top too much for me. And I can't take it. I can't. They be trying to play on that lady too hard. And you mean to tell me Ashley, Darby, and the fact that the people that don't like Kandi, not all but some, will say the same thing, Ashley, Darby, girl, y'all is tripping on today. Okay, can't even get to Easter because y'all being foolish. Anywho, let's see what else we got. So Deasia asked her about Porsha and Simon. She asked her about Porsha and Simon, whether she felt like Porsha actually loved that man or what the hell was going on. Okay, so she does ask her about that, and Nene kind of start taking some drinks and stuff, like, girl, am I here? I ain't really here. Don't ask me. But she does feel like Simon loved Porsha, right? And she also was asked about, the whole situation of, remember Porsha said in the previous episode that the reason she can't be with Simon, or she knows she's over him, is because she didn't like that he mentioned her mom's name in court documents. I don't think Nene knew that it was court documents, but Nene did say that she felt like, well, Simon should be able to share his thoughts and opinions. So if he has an issue with your mom, he should be able to say that, because even when you get married, it's your husband before your parents. Okay. So she backs up Simon on this, child. That's a mess. But let's see.
When you marry somebody, they become first. Even your parents, it becomes second to the person that you're married to.
Now, you've hung out with Porsha and Simon, I think several times.
I have.
Do you feel like it was ever real?
Well, is this a game? Are we pleading the fifth? Because I plead the fifth.
It's not every day I get to sit down with you, so I have to know. Do you feel like...
Is this called sip and drink or something?
Sip and drink. Bitch, I'm hot.
Okay.
I'm a drink on that one, honey.
Do you feel like Porsha loved him? Do you feel like Simon loved Porsha?
Nene is crazy, bro.
Okay. We'll just leave that there.
When you marry
Nene is crazy, but can I say I am proud of Nene. For me, okay, I am proud of Nene because she's been wanting to do this Nene Leakes show for such a long time. I think she wanted it on a major network, which may have delayed her coming down to the YouTube. I think that with Nene, she's wanted to do it with other people, and I feel like her wanting to do this with other people was some type of internal fear that she had of doing it by herself. Maybe other people will keep her accountable of some sort, right? And that didn't work out. Then she goes and does this podcast, me and my homegirl with Sierra Gates, okay? Miss Ghetto Girl Eats. She goes over there, she does the podcast with her, then it just fades out. We don't hear anything. I haven't seen a recent upload. No more talking about it. They did a little press run or whatever, and then it's nothing. Like a month later, it's crazy, right? And now she's doing a Nene Leakes show. I can see Nene being successful with the Nene Leakes show and consistent, like she says she gonna be, based on the reaction and the response that she gets from the fans. I don't know what the views are looking like over there, so I'll definitely have to go and check it out. But I would think that, you just got to be consistent. If you want something to grow at the end of the day, whatever it is, you just got to stick to it. And Nene has gotten over 100,000 views in 22 hours, which is great. And somebody that she might be inspired by would probably be Carlos King, potentially. But let me also add this and say this too. I wanted to highlight the fact that sometimes things don't work out because you do have to go alone. In my personal, I'm just saying, I feel like if you find yourself in a space where you keep trying to do a project or pursue a goal or a business or whatever the sort, and you keep trying to do it with somebody else, you might get further with it being yourself, because you're always having to deal with somebody else's energy, them not having as much passion for it as you may have for it. Like, it may not even be their idea. It may be your idea, but you brought them along for it because you don't want to do it alone and do it by yourself. So if things fall apart, you don't want to be the only person held accountable for it, or you may want to lean on that person for support, for them to push you and propel you, when the whole time it was your idea because it was given to you. It was given to you. It may not have been given to you with, oh, you should do this with that person. It may have been given to just you, and you chose to add somebody else in on it. So that's just a message for people out there that's trying to work on something or do something. I felt like I was that person for a long time. And then when I decided to be like, you know what, get in my fuck it phase, fuck it. Just do it. Put it out there. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just da-da-da-da and keep it pushing. And I feel like it's worked for me. And I've gotten more than what I expected and asked for. So sometimes you do got to go alone and you got to do stuff by yourself. And I say, do it. Now, I don't know how far Nene's going to take it, but I hope that she stays consistent and she takes it. She knows too many people, has too many connections to not be able to have these people come down, sit down, do an interview with her. And we get into some things, okay? And hopefully we'll get to see some people that we haven't already seen on other people's platforms, right? So we shall see. We shall see. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below on how you feel about Nene Leakes show, how you felt it went. Do you see this being a consistent thing by her? Do you see this being a great thing? Let me know your thoughts. And also, sometimes I feel like, Nene, you don't always have to have a person sit down there with you. Okay? You could just really come to us. It could be a segment about you, your life, maybe what you've dealt with. Maybe, you having to get past the passing of Greg. So it could be, it's a lot that she could do with that, all right, with her Nene Leakes show. So we shall see. But I would say congrats to Nene. Do your thing, mamas. But don't let it take another month, all right? The first time you had Carlos on, Carlos was interviewing you. This time you have somebody else going. You did a bit of a rebrand, and I like it. And loving the set of everything that you have. And just don't let it be a month, okay? So if it got to be a bi-weekly thing until you could, for you to be consistent, and you interview 2 people on the same day, and have somebody edit them, have them ready to go. Do what you got to do. But either way, congrats and good luck. That's all that I got. Leave your thoughts and comments down below on the Nene Leakes show, as well as LaTocha Scott being the first guest and the things that she had to say. I'm Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jami, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand on my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can feel it.